From hiccups to murder, what went wrong in Jennifer Mee's life to make such a dramatic change? Let's find out because this is her story. Hello, I'm Sean, and if you're new here, then welcome to my channel. If you are returning, then it's great to see you again. Twice a week, I research a true crime that I find interesting to tell you about it. I want to make sure that the victims are remembered, and there's a lot of victims out there to remember. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It is free. I appreciate each and every one of my subscribers. And if you want to support me kindly, I do have a Patreon, and the link of it is below. Or in the description below. Sorry. If you have any ideas for future crimes, please feel free to leave me a message. I do respond to all comments. So, that being said, now on with today's true crime. Jennifer Ann Mee was born July 28, 1991 in St. Petersburg, Florida. Yes, this is a Florida person's story. I really think that this is possibly my first Florida story. And usually Florida stories are crazy. So this could be a wild ride. I don't know. Let's just hang on and find out. In 2007, Jennifer started to have a problem. At the age of 15, she started to hiccup uncontrollably. She was sitting in class when they started. She waited about 15 minutes and then went to the nurse's office. She stayed there for the rest of the day. But they never stopped. It would not end, and it was constant, like non-stop. They say that she was hiccuping about 50 times a minute. I saw a little clip of a video that I could not copy to share, otherwise I would share it. And it was like, hi, I did, like that rapidly. Like every other word, she was hiccuping. Her home life, it was a little crowded. She had 4 younger sisters, a stepfather, and her mom. Plus her uncle was sleeping on the couch. Her mom, Rachel Robideau, was the only one that was working, and that was at a local Denny's. They were crammed in a 2-bedroom house. I've seen house and I've seen apartment, so let's just stay with house. I couldn't imagine that. The sound of hiccuping, had to fill the space. It was such a small location, 2-bedroom house is not the biggest. And they said that it sounded like a little chihuahua barking. So that would be pretty annoying, if you ask me. She had to stop going to school. She went to a pediatrician. She went to a neurologist. She went to a cardiologist. She had blood taken. She had brain scans, but nothing seemed to help. Her body started to hurt from the hiccups. She had to take Valium and Benadryl to help get some sleep. She was getting really depressed and desperate. She even thought about jumping off a bridge. I always have the hiccup burps. For some odd reason, whenever I get the hiccup, I always burp right after it. But the convulsion hurts so bad, it ends up giving me a headache, neck problems and everything. So I could not imagine doing this for an extended series of time. Of course, since she was only like 15, she feared that no guy would ever want to be with her because of this, and her mental state started decreasing. This was when her mother thought it would be a good idea to contact the media. She immediately gained international fame. The cause and treatments for the hiccups were all disputed. Some told her to ingest sugar, while others told her to eat spoonfuls of peanut butter. Others told her to hold her breath, and some told her to breathe in a bag. Others even tried scaring her. She appeared on a number of TV shows, hoping for someone to come forward with a miracle cure, but none showed. Eventually, she did meet with Dr. Bob Lind, who managed to treat her hiccups, and they stopped. After 5 long weeks, her nightmare was finally over. But so was her 15 minutes of fame. Now, they don't ever go into what Dr. Lind did to stop the hiccups. Um, but yeah, I mean, 5 weeks of hiccuping that much would be insane. I can't even imagine that. So, in 2007, she ran away from home. Her mother reported to the papers. She also dropped out of school and started doing drugs. Her stepfather supposedly found her MySpace page, and she alluded to drinking, doing drugs, going to strip clubs. Her parents responded to this by shutting off her phone. She got angry, and that's when she ran away. Her mother thought that it was because of the stress of not being in the spotlight anymore. And this pushed her over the edge. But she found that, a new way of doing things and fell into a bad crowd. Sometime before 2010, she started to date a guy by the name of Lamont Newton. With him, she had a plan for him and his friend, Laron Rayford. I think that's how you pronounce the last name, Rayford. To rob victims that she would meet online and set them up, and they would just rob them, and that would be it. In 2010, she met Shannon Griffin, a 22-year-old that never suspected a thing. He thought that it was okay to be invited to a vacant home. She met with him, led him into the back alley. He thought he was going on a date with the Hiccup girl. He was all excited about that. He even cleaned up and wore some cologne, according to his family. So he seriously thought this was a date, and she just led him into an alley. Once in the alley, he was confronted by Rayford and Newton. They robbed him at gunpoint for $50. Well, there was a struggle because he wasn't going to, give up that easily. So there was a struggle, and they shot and killed him. They used a 38 caliber handgun and shot him 4 times. Now, why they left the gun behind, I don't know, but they left the gun behind. They fled the area, but were arrested within hours of the killing. The St. Petersburg Police Department Detective Sergeant Skinner said that they openly admitted to the crime. But Jennifer stated that she left the area prior to the killing. She said that she just brought him there and then left right away while the other two were going to rob him. She kept saying that his death was not on the agenda, and the other two had stated that he started to fight them, and that's when he got shot accidentally. But the problem is that when they went to the apartment to, search it and everything like that, they found the victim's wallet. They found his work ID and other items that had Jennifer's fingerprints all over them. So, yes, granted, once she got back to the house, she could have grabbed onto this stuff and touched it, getting her fingerprints, but this still connected her to his murder. Even though she did not pull the trigger, she was still considered accomplice to murder and was charged with murder. In Florida, anyone that is involved in a robbery where someone dies will be charged with murder and tried accordingly. A lot of people disagree with this law, and it's been in so many different disputes, but that's the way they have it written. And still to this day, that's the way they have it, even though people keep fighting it. During the trial, prosecution played a recording of a phone call that Jennifer had with her mother while in jail. She told her mom, "I didn't kill nobody. I set everything up. It all went wrong." Her own words pretty much damned her. And she, you know, basically that just admits all of her guilt. An expert testified that some of the DNA was on the victim's shirt. This is kind of sealing her fate, saying that she was actually there when the guy was murdered. Yeah, granted, she could have touched him and then left the location, but still. Her lawyers also claimed that she had schizophrenia, so the Judge Nancy Moat Lay, ordered a psychological evaluation. The evaluation showed that she was completely competent to stand trial. Her lawyers then also tried to blame her hiccups, stating that it was caused by Tourette's syndrome. This was also found to not be true. In 2013, the trial was finally over. The jury spent almost 4 hours deliberating before actually giving their judgment. During the closing arguments, the prosecutor kept going back to the same phrase. She set it all up. She set it all up. She set it all up. You know, they just kept saying it. She was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Both of her co-defendants were also convicted and got the same thing. Her attorney tried to get her a new trial, but it was denied. Cousin to Shannon Griffin, Doug Bolden, said that it's a victory, but there's no winners. Which, he's right about it. Even though she is locked away, it does not stop her continued 15 minutes of fame. In 2018, Piers Morgan interviewed her for his TV show Killer Women. You know, he stated that, because she said now she's going to be remembered for being a murderer, and that's going to be her new nickname is Murderer. And Morgan kind of jokes around and says, actually, you'll have two nicknames, referring to her as Hiccup Girl. And she kind of agreed with this, because she said that, you know, for the longest time she was called Hiccup Girl. And some of the other prisoners have been calling her Hiccup Killer. So, yeah, she's still kind of young, and now she has to live with that. There is a website that is trying to get her freed. They're all about compassion and reform, and they felt like just because she facilitated the robbery doesn't mean that she should have gotten a full life sentence, maybe, you know, even half that or something. Or at least the option to be able to get paroled. And this website is jmefree.com. JMEE free, FREE.com, if you want to check it out. They claim that she was a misguided lost girl that should have received a punishment accordingly to what she did, not more severe. I try to stay unbiased through most of my stories, even though it's hard at times with some of the crap that I've read, and it's hard to stay unbiased, but I try to because I'm trying to just report the story to you guys. But she did set him up. And if she didn't set him up, he would never have died. But if she ran away before he was killed, I don't know. I mean, it rolls around in a circle, and it's a hard thing to figure out because I'm not a lawyer. And you know, Shannon's cousin, when he says that it's a victory, but there's no winners, he's right. There are no winners in this. They're without their they're without their, or he's without his cousin. The families are without their kids because they're in prison. Uh, it's just so sad because 4 lives were wasted over this whole ordeal. You know, I'm really sorry to Shannon's family for their loss. It it's unbelievable. It's not something that any parent or cousin or family member wants to live through. Uh, and to Jennifer Mee's family, I'm sorry. They're still, by her side, and they're still visiting her and things like that. So that's good. But she's going to be stuck there for possibly the rest of her life over one stupid mistake. So thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, please do so. I appreciate everyone. Thank you for being here. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. That's what I'm trying to always say. Be good to yourself and be good to others, because you never know who's going to be pissed off at you and shoot and kill you, I guess. I don't know. Love you all. See you next time. Bye.